Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. I am going to start off with the zodiac sign readings, and then I will continue on to the human design profile readings. I usually just kind of mix them all up, but I don't know. For whatever reason, I don't want to do it that way. But I am making this little intro to ask you to subscribe to the channel. I would love if you would do that. And this feels so awkward for me to even say, which is probably why this is it sounds super awkward. But I rarely, if ever, have even mentioned or asked for subscribers or for you to subscribe. And this is why, because it's awkward and it's uncomfortable for me, I'm just over that. I'm done with that. So I've already done the Cancer reading. If you're here for the Cancer reading, obviously it's coming up. But, and I meant to just kind of stop in the middle, once I got to the middle cards or whatever, and just be like, hey, something supernatural that, it didn't sound so weird to be like, oh, subscribe to the channel, whatever. But it didn't turn out that way. So here I am blabbering on about I don't even know. So subscribe now so we both don't forget. And if at some point in the middle of the reading you're just like, F this B, unsubscribe, It's literally just a click of a button. So that way we both don't forget, and you can help me out. I'd appreciate that. Okay, let's get into the readings. So, I hope you're all doing well. I'm floating somewhere down the the river of life. We're going to start with Cancer. I think I'm going to probably work my way through the zodiac signs first, and then I'm going to do the human design profile readings. That feels like my guidance anyway, so we're going to roll with it. We're going to use, I believe this is the modern. I love that. Nice opening. I believe this is the Modern Witch Tarot, and this is the Sacred Cycles Oracle, which is very, kind of feminine focused, but of course these readings are meant for all types of energies. Okay, so I was actually going to start with a tarot. You know what? F it. Let's just roll with it. Let's get your tarot cards out, and then we'll get your oracle. One, two, three, four. I also have no clue why I didn't just flip those over already, so this has already been a journey. Interesting. I already peeked. We have the Sun card at the bottom of the deck. I don't know what I'm doing. This is definitely different. And we have the Sun at the bottom of this deck. Huh. Love that. Did I say that this is the reading for Cancer? Wherever Cancer shows up for you. I am actually a Cancer rising. So anyway, shouts out to Cancer. Happy birthday to you Cancer sons also. But look at the similarities between these two cards. We'll come back to that. Let me get this oracle card out. I do want to talk about those two before we flip over the rest of the cards, and maybe we'll just flip them over one at a time. just need one. Ah. I don't know why, like I feel like I'm like full of anxiety, like just out of nowhere. um there seems to be like a mix of like worry in there because I mean for the most part, I mean what we're seeing is pretty positive. So it has that feeling of like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Waning Gibbous Moon. I'm not super duper familiar with the, the different phases of the moon, but we will like read out of the book on that to see what the message is for us. But obviously I know that we'll get around to this, but it's interesting to me that all of these cards that we have facing us have a white or gray horse. And it seems like there's this transitionary thing that is happening here because death, there's something that is dying. Not necessarily physically. It doesn't talk about like a physical unaliving. I mean, in super duper rare, minute situations, maybe it could talk about that, but we're not predicting a death here, okay? But it does talk about the process of something ending so that something new can begin. And there's like clearly a journey that is happening here. The death card is associated to Scorpio. Scorpio usually encompasses transformation. I mean, it does, talk about the underworld. It's going into the depths of pain, suffering, trauma even. And that is a journey, right? Because truly the only way out is through, or the only way out is in. And you have to, on that journey, it may not be easy to even see like these different projections of yourself here. I mean, this could be other people. It could be setting healthy boundaries. There could even be bargaining happening because even, with death, there comes a grieving process. Even if that's like an ego death, if that's an identity, if it's a personality trait, a behavior pattern, an idea of what you thought, your life was going to be, or your relationship was going to be, whatever the case is, right? There is always a need to grieve those losses. If it is something, obviously, that you deem to be a loss. So it's interesting. Like, I keep kind of getting this feeling of this is either you on this horse, or there's an energy that is literally moving through your life that is showing you the things that are no longer working for you, whether it is something where you need to set boundaries, better boundaries with people. Like, we really cannot pour out of an empty cup. We can, but really all that it's doing is causing harm to ourselves at the expense of somebody else's comfort. That's not right. That's not good karma. Especially if you are not then receiving, which is interesting because then we have the Knight of Cups. But before I move on from the Death card, I just, like I said, I was getting that bargaining feeling here because this little girl is holding up a flower. This person is almost like in a begging type of mode. This person is on the ground, their crown came off. So it could even be that your eyes are being opened to the reality of certain people in your lives, certain situations, certain truths also. Again, this could be other people bargaining or begging. It could be you being like, please, no, don't take this out of my life. Because no doubt, we always know, and especially Cancers, right? You being so, like, just water signs in general, and with this even being Scorpio, which is also, a water sign, when they're coming. It's like you start getting this feeling, you start, it's like there's a vibration around you. You start just even recognizing differences in behavior, circumstances. You start picking up on the vibe, right? Like, that it's coming. And that could even be where you're like, no, 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 no. However, though, like I said, we move on to the Knight of Cups. Again, with the water. Also, I don't know specifically who the Knight of Cups is attributed to. I could look it up, but I don't necessarily think it's all that important. I think it would be interesting if it was also Scorpio. Let me just... It is also Scorpio. So maybe you're dealing with a Scorpio in your life, or even just going through Scorpio themes, which again, transformation. I believe Pluto in modern astrology is associated to Pluto, and Pluto is in retrograde right now. So there's even kind of this thing about closing out contracts, revisiting contracts, but it could literally be a physical contract or verbal, whatever that you have with, even an emotional contract that you have with a person. But if you believe in the whole soul contract thing, we decided to experience certain things on this plane when we birthed ourselves. So again, it's is that contract fulfilled? Also, does it need to be? Because I think we can change our mind. I think we're powerful enough to do anything. I just want to go back to this Death card really quick and see the Sun to me, it feels like it's coming up. It could also be going down depending on, of course, your perspective. With it being the Death card, the Sun literally could be setting on something. Usually, obviously, the Sun setting is the end of that day. We're going into nighttime then, right? And especially it's all gray back here. So let's just say the Sun is setting. Even this boat back here, there's this journey here that's moving us into the future, because the right side of the card is the future. The left side of the card is the past. Both of these cards are heading in the same direction, and they're both heading to your future. And then back to the Knight of Cups. People, we haven't even gotten to the other 5 cards, 6 if we want to count the bottom of the deck. So this is why I absolutely love tarot. So the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is the knight in shining armor of the tarot. This is the save the day kind of card. Cups are, again, it's water, emotional body, how we feel about things. love, right? It's our relationship to love, how we give it, how we receive it, how we even express it. And we can see that this Knight of Cups, for one, is like a person, flesh and blood, right? They're holding out this cup here. So there's a couple things with the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is going to be led by their heart. There's very little thinking that goes into it. So it can be a bit impulsive on the emotional side, because we can also get impulsive on the mental side, right? But this is definitely, kind of check where your actions are coming from. Are they coming from a place of love? Are they coming from a place of self-love? Like, are you pouring again from a full cup, or pouring, even pulling from an empty cup? This could be somebody coming into your life who is going to offer you their cup. And of course, that can be anything from, a romantic thing. It could be business, like it could be a job offer coming in that is going to emotionally feel really good to you. Like it's gonna, instead of coming from a place of needing to make a certain amount of money, thinking that you deserve a certain, position, which all of those things could very well and probably are very true. But this also, it's going to make you feel good. It's going to be something that you love. It can even be an apology, whether you're the one giving it or you're the one receiving it. It could be also apologizing to yourself. This could be self-care. Because it even looks like their focus is on this cup, not necessarily like what's ahead of them, but this cup here. And also, even too, allowing that to be your focus. How does something make you feel? How do the people that you surround yourself with, how do they make you feel? The actions that you take, the direction that you're heading in, does it still feel good? Or do you need to just like tweak it a little bit? It's very intuitive. This is also being very connected to your intuition and trusting that your intuition is guiding you to exactly the place that you need to be, which is interesting because then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Sun card. So again, these three horses, Death card, something ending, the Sun is setting, the Knight of Cups is setting out, continuing this journey, following their heart, following your feeling, following your intuition. And the Sun card is like everything good, joy, bliss, happiness. This is like, the ultimate destination for anybody. There's a child on this card, but it feels like inner child. This could even be a journey of inner child healing, which to me, inner child healing is like a form of growing up. Like, yeah, we occupy these adult bodies with adult body problems. Not that, every adult body has like a problem, but the older that you get. However, a lot of the feelings that we have, the actions that we take, the things that we do, the things that we don't do, come from a place of our inner child, which is also kind of linked into our ego, right? So these things happen over the course of our childhood, and we start attaching ourselves, our identities, our personalities, to these things, right? To these stories, to the feelings, whether they're our stories, our feelings or not, and whether they're true or not. right? So we just continue to operate in those same patterns, the same way of thinking too. And as we dig into our own shit, literally, our own baggage, our own roots, like truly digging into how did I even become the person that I am today with the beliefs that I have, with the stories that I have, the fears, the anxieties, the depressions, like where does my joy come from? Where do I find play and fun and all of the things, right? Once we start digging into all of that and journeying into, how those things make us feel, and again, whether they're even true or not, whether we even want to continue to live by those beliefs, by those stories, by those fears, anxieties, depressions, joys, whatever, right? Then it allows us to help where we got zapped. Because for me, like when I was super duper deep into this process for myself, I am a super Harry Potter fan. And I used to relate them to Horcruxes. Like there's times in our lives where our energy was just zapped and it gets stuck there. And we get stuck in that personality, that temperament, that behavior, that way of thinking, the story, right? So it's finding for me, like I said, I'm attributing my little zappings to Horcruxes. And it was literally going back and finding those Horcruxes and releasing the energy of those Horcruxes to where I could allow my inner child to grow up and make adult decisions using adult logic, using the experience that I have as an adult, through my however many years of life I've been on this planet, the things that I have learned, the experiences that I've gone through. And instead of reacting to something such as my, 7-year-old self would, or my 10-year-old self would, because, it triggers that story, that whole crux, right? It allows me to retrieve that energy, love it, clear it, cleanse it. And then, this is available to feel like real joy, real bliss, real happiness. So I don't even know how long it's been. It's been 23 minutes. So maybe the rest of this reading is going to go pretty fast because I honestly did not intend for these readings to be super duper long. So, but we go where the energy takes us as long as it feels good. And that did. So we have the Waning Gibbous Moon. It says, okay. It says, I am ready to let go. That's why I'm laughing, because we have the Death card. The Waning Gibbous Moon calls you to begin the process of letting go. The vision that you are calling in for your soul's next, iteration of growth is so expansive that space must be made for it. Creating the space begins with releasing. You may have old habits based on outdated patterns, beliefs, or ways of being. Often these habits have served you, even if their sole purpose was to keep you feeling safe, and have undoubtedly been essential on your journey. The invitation now is to thank them for their service and send them on their way. If you are unsure about what needs to be released, your inner voice will tell you. You can begin this process by simply getting quiet and asking yourself what you are ready to let go of. Just like the waning gibbous moon, you are headed toward a time of inward contemplation to help call in further clarity. Journal prompt, or even just something to consider. What pattern, relationship, belief, or habit can I release to make space for my evolution? Which I even feel like is the Sun card. Like this is that space being available. I love that. We start with the Lover's card, which is Gemini. This could have to do with relationships. Again, relationships can be romantic, they can be platonic, business, whatever. It could be people pleasing in whatever capacity that is. Interestingly enough, that looks like Temperance back there. We have Temperance behind the Sun card. So there could be a pattern that you have been in any type of relationship, probably specifically romantic, where it's almost kind of like you've been doing the same thing. That, what is that, like the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So it's kind of like blaming the other person for not either reacting or giving you what you wanted based on like your behavior type of thing. Like, I'm being this way in a relationship. Why am I not receiving the same energy back? The Lover's card is also about making a decision. This feels very like Adam and Evie, and I'm just saying that because there looks to be these apples. There's a snake going up this tree also. So there could even be temptation. It could be entering into relationships, again, in whatever capacity that is for you, but it's entering into a relationship from a wounded or like almost kind of a devil energy kind of way, out of like obsession or not wanting to address your own. It's like using relationships as a distraction so that you don't have to look at yourself, which is this Death card here. There could be somebody coming in that it's like, I hate using the word test because I just don't believe in the whole the universe is testing you thing. We have the availability, we have the choice, which the Lovers does talk about choices. We can make a different decision every second, every thought. We can choose to think differently. So I don't see it as a test. So I'm not even going to use that word. We can choose differently. There could be somebody either already in your life or coming into your life, and you have a decision to make. Do you want to continue to enter into relationships, and again, whatever type of relationship that is for you, in the same way that you have, based on the experiences that you've had in the past or thus far? We have the Empress card. This is like taking your own power back. The Empress is Taurus, Venus, so it's also Libra. Venus, I believe, where is Venus? Is it in Cancer right now? I believe so, because my natal Venus is in Cancer too, and I remember thinking, it'll be interesting, just to kind of see how that goes. And then I totally forgot about it, so I have no clue how it's been going. But actually, no, I take that back. I did start to do things that made myself like feel better, like just health wise and even mentally. So anyway, the Empress is the divine feminine. So it's interesting because in the Lovers card, there is the feminine and the masculine. The energies, though, right? Not necessarily the gender, although in that card it is kind of representing a feminine form and a more masculine looking form, although we don't know. But not gender specific. The energy of feminine is being in the flow, going with the flow. Most feminine energies have a monthly flow, right? Even just the whole moon phase thing, like, our moods, our hormones change every day. But also intuition, nurturing, reproduction, because the Empress is traditionally depicted as being pregnant. And of course, it can, if you're looking for that, this would be a positive omen for expanding a family. So, there is that reproduction quality to it, but it's more so in the realm of tarot, it's more so talking about the ability to reproduce something in your life, whether it's reproducing the availability of opportunity, it's reproducing abundance in some form, whatever that looks like for you. Also, too, what I'm getting from the Lovers card with the masculine and feminine, there's both of these energies are in there, and it does talk about like the dance between balancing those two energies, like yin and yang, right? How those two energies are in balance. So both energies are, I keep hearing the word like accountable. So it's allowing, you being accountable for your side of the street in a relationship, and the other person being responsible for their side of the street in a relationship. So it's not out of balance, right? And especially with this Empress card, it's knowing your worth, knowing, and like I said, there's this feeling of empowerment with the Empress card. Even security, like a secure attachment, keeps coming to mind. Then we have the Moon card. Look how many major arcana cards there are already. Like the Knight of Cups so far is the only card that is not a major arcana card. We have the Moon card. If you are in relationship in some capacity, I mean, most of us are, right? I mean, most of us have some type of relationship, like friends, family, a relationship with our job, a relationship with even ourselves. Of course, I mean, if you have a significant other, there's something that's happening here where there's, even with this waning gibbous moon, like, and letting go of an old behavior, there's some sort of evolution that's taking place within you. Because the Moon card is, I want to say it feels shocking, but it's not like a tower moment, but it's like there's something that is going to be revealed to you or, and I was actually even getting moon vibes with the Empress card because, I mean, the moon is feminine. The moon is also the card of Cancer, right? Cancer is ruled by the moon, the only planet or the only zodiac sign that the moon is attributed to is Cancer. So I was getting that with the Empress because it is, the feminine of the luminaries. The sun is the masculine, the moon is the feminine. We also have the Lovers card out here. So again, there's this thing that's happening between the feminine and masculine, and this could even be something that is happening within yourself, because we all have feminine and masculine energies within us, right? And it's also very possible for either one of those energies to become out of balance. It could be on the feminine side of things. It could be a damsel in distress and just waiting for somebody to come save you, thinking that you can't possibly have the life that you desire without having a man in your life to, help support or provide or protect in some capacity you, right? That's not true anymore. It's 2024, right? And truly the best person to save you is you. And then it creates space, like this Waning Gibbous Moon card was talking about. It allows space for the right energies to come in, the right person who would probably provide that actual support, protection, whatever that you are looking for, but you are in your highest form. You're not sitting there like, oh, I can't do this for myself. No, fuck that. Yes, you can. And truly, it feels good to do those things for yourself. And on the masculine side of things, it's like hyper independence. I don't need shit from anybody. I'll do it all myself. But then also complaining that I have to do it all by myself. Nobody ever helps me. But then when people do try to help, you're like, no, I'm good. But then you'll turn around and be like, nobody ever helps me. I've had to fight for everything that I've ever received, which no doubt is absolutely true. But also, what is your relationship to receiving help, to receiving love? And where, that hyper independence thing is also a trauma response, as is the hyper damsel in distress thing. So it's interesting, this whole like dance between masculine and feminine energies. There is something that it's going to be leveling out. And again, with this moon card, it's either even looking into your moon sign, because our moon sign, and maybe you're a Cancer moon, but our moon sign is our emotional body, how we process emotions, how we express them. And whatever house that is in for you, there could be some themes that you see that are showing up. But the moon also, it's the subconscious. There's a lot of ritual around the moon. I believe, was there a full moon or a new moon sometime recently? I know we're having 2 Capricorn full moons this summer, which is, the sister sign or the opposite sign to you. So you could be feeling some effects of just that opposing your, wherever Cancer is for you, if it's your rising, your moon, your sun, any other planet that you might have in Cancer. But there's something that is going to be revealed to you. Even look at this little, what is this down here? Like, I never saw that movie Venom, but it feels like that. And especially too, that it's paired with a death card. So something here is being revealed. It's literally coming out of the depths of water, which again, moon is attributed to water. It's attributed to Cancer. Water is our emotional body as far as like tarot goes. So there's something that is being just pulled up from our depths, and it's being pulled up. We're not going to necessarily go back into the death card because we talked about it so much already, but it's being pulled up so that it can be released. All those things that we were talking about with the death card before still applies. There's nothing that I want to add to it. I think that's awesome. We have the Nine of Swords. So the only two cards that are not major arcanas are these last two cards here. This is not going to be easy. The truth hurts sometimes. It's not easy to accept, especially, depending on how hard we are trying to just grip onto, like how far our hooks have been into something. Swords have to do with our mind. Like I think I might have said before about anxiety, depression, nightmares. This is the stuff that keeps you up at night. This is a dark night of the soul. And it's coming right after the death card. This is very much for you. To get to this point where you are so tapped into your emotional body, to even your physical body, but they're interconnected. You can't, there's not one without the other, right? I mean, they are literally intertwined. Even so far as like, our mind sitting at the top of our bodies and how that just, trickles down into our emotional body, into our physical body, and how those things play off of each other. Stress creates a hormonal response in our body, whether you're male or whether you're masculine or feminine, right? It creates a hormonal response in our body that then creates a physical response. So this whole thing, it's going to be a little difficult. Journaling is great. Crying is great, especially for water signs, right? It's a physical manifestation of what you are thinking, what you are feeling. There's nothing wrong with crying. And if anything, it helps water signs to cleanse, to purify, to get out of our physical, our emotional body, the energy that is being stored in there. Flush it out with water. Even taking baths, if you are a bath person. If you don't have access to a tub, or if you're not a huge bath person, I'm not a big bath. I don't really just like chilling in a bathtub. But, you could be in the shower, setting the intention that, the water flowing over you is washing away, whatever this stuff is that's coming up for you. Even the Temperance card being behind the Sun card. So here we have the sun that was going down, setting on the Death card. Now the sun is up or coming up, and it's here too. Temperance is about alchemy, turning one thing into another. There's a patience element that comes along with temperance because things take time, right? So this isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. The behaviors and the patterns and the beliefs that you have didn't necessarily happen overnight. It could have taken just a second for the actual experience to happen, but to really drive that in, it was many decisions, many choices over time to continue to hang on to that thing, to continue to believe that thing, and to continue to act in a way that was a result of that thing. So it's allowing yourself the patience, the time, the compassion, the grace to make different decisions, to change slowly, because that's how it's sustainable. They have one foot in the water, they have one foot on solid ground. So it's, having one foot in your emotions and then also still being grounded in reality. I'm going to leave it there because it's been 45 minutes. And I meant to mention in the middle of this, if you're still here, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to make a little intro because I need to just get better about that. I never ask for people to actually subscribe to the channel. And anyway, I'm going to start doing that. So thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. This was an amazing reading. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.